This is Eric with Astrology for Awakening, and this week we have the Mars conjunct Saturn aspect. What's in the way is the theme of this aspect. It's an inquiry into really what is in the way in your experience. And the beauty of that is that last week just released a book that I wrote called What's in the Way? And it's clear as we're on the path of life that we will meet obstacles. And Saturn and Mars, when they meet, when Mars comes up and conjuncts with Saturn, Mars is like, it's the archetype of action, of intensely energized movement. Mars is the modification of spiritual awareness of the spirit that is about moving forward in a straight and a definitive line, cutting through, mowing down what is ever in the path until it meets Saturn. Yes, until it meets Saturn, because it just can't push through Saturn. It doesn't have that ability. Saturn is the archetype, the modification of pure awareness that is about stop. Stop. It's about stillness. It's the definitive no to the forward movement of Mars. When Mars and Saturn meet, the great astrologer Rob Hand said it's the unstoppable force meeting the immovable object. It is the koan, the spiritual inquiry into what's in the way. And that's the question for each of us now. What's in the way, and how do we meet it in a way that both the Mars principle within our own awareness, the passionate, intense, wanting, desiring, action part of us that is infused innately with youthful, dynamic, even adolescent energy that fills us somatically with wanting, with intensity. And it meets Saturn, that inner elder within us, the quality of awareness that is unflappable, that's seen it all, that is unmoving, that is conservative in the best sense of the word, conserving energy, that is extremely deliberative, not impulsive. When these two encounter each other, there is the opportunity for a third thing to arise, an awakening that infuses both with a newer dimension of wisdom. Of course, we need both. We have both. These are archetypes that are inherent features of the incarnating of consciousness. We need both. We need the boldness of Mars, and we need the conserving steadiness of Saturn. So our practice is to honor both, to bless both, and to cultivate within our own awareness a conversation between these two archetypal energies, so that they can now, yet again, every 2 and a little more years they meet, so they can again merge their differing gifts and their differing perspectives into a shared vision that brings together urgency and patience, that brings together forging ahead and letting things take their own sweet time. This is the coming together, the great alchemical union from which springs forth that which is uncontrived. Now, in the cycle of the planets, Mars is the faster moving. Clearly, Saturn moves slow. And Mars and Saturn meet. Both are transformed in this. Then Mars takes that, the insight, takes the revelation and moves ahead with it to enact it, always with a relationship to Saturn so that they stay in conversation for the next 2 years. But this is now the beginning of a conversation. It's a time to look back and say, in the past 2 years, what has been my relationship between urgency and patience, between action and stillness, between pushing forward and turning inward? How have I been relating in my experience with those two? Have I been more impatient, Martian, and irritated at the slow development of my plans and my intentions? Or have I been, the dogs are barking, back from the dog barking, or have I been the Saturn? Have I been more uncertain, holding back, maybe even a bit depressed about, that's kept me from taking action in a way that is in alignment really with my deeper dreams? Mars, in looking back and in relating to Saturn, Mars's learning from Saturn is about pacing, it's about timing, and it's about the judicious use of resources. That's the lesson that Mars learns from Saturn. Saturn learns from Mars that there are limits to setting limits, and that there's wisdom often in moving ahead without absolute certainty and security about the outcome of what's going to unfold. So Mars can learn from Saturn also about how to reference history, to reference the past, to listen to elders, those who have walked the path before us, and to value tradition. It's not necessary to reinvent the wheel, but there's things to learn from the discipline of from the history of your particular area of interest and desire. Saturn, on the other hand, can learn from Mars a kind of boldness, a willingness to be drawn forward by the future, even the unknown future, to listen to the youthful enthusiasm that may seem unrealistic, but is actually in touch with something that's emergent, and to value breaking patterns. So this is a reset time. Whenever the fast-moving planet conjuncts the slow-moving, in this case, this is Mars and Saturn, this is a resetting now for us to bring those two energies into a more profound and more integrated conversation, and to reflect on where in your life specifically there's a tension between making it happen and being still. And instead of solving the problem, to be with that tension, and to allow those two energies, like the two hands of your body, to allow those two energies, one representing Mars, do that now with your right hand, representing Mars, the active, forward-moving, passionate, left hand representing Saturn, the still, interning, conserving energy, the deliberative process of judgment, to let those two slowly come together, very slowly come together at the heart, in that universal gesture of integration, and to let awareness to drop into the heart, to allow those two energies to commingle, commune, and give rise to a new understanding that can guide your activity from a place of wisdom as you move forward.